So one of the best things I've had to help me in my photography career is muses. And I think it's really, really important, especially when you're doing things like portrait, fashion, art, people that you can work with, you can get comfortable with, you can bounce off each other, you can grow together. A good muse doesn't expect every time you shoot it's going to be an incredible picture. A good muse will sit there and let you take hours to get your lighting set up. They'll play around with some of your storyboards. They'll supply some storyboards as well. And it's just this sort of like growing thing. It's very organic. I've had a few muses over the years, and I thought it was a time for me maybe just to go through a few of those muses that have helped me so much with my career. And the obvious one to start with is Beck, of course. So with Beck, we met 12 years ago. Her sister was doing a makeup shoot. She's a hair and makeup artist, and Beck was her model, and that was the first time I met her. She reminded me of right about the same time a movie came out called Sucker Punch, and she really felt like one of those sort of anime-ish doll figures that were in that movie. Instantly, there was something about her that was a bit different. She was also nearly 6 foot tall, skinny as a rake. I love shooting that sort of shape, and she was naturally skinny. It wasn't like she did anything special except eat hamburgers, drink wine, and eat pizza. The first shoot we did, I was trying to get this underwatery type of look with her. We were just basically playing. I didn't have any set idea of what to do. It was basically by having a slow shutter speed, using a board to blow her hair around, gave us this beautiful blurry board, but she froze because she was just staying still while I did that. And again, this is where you learn your skills, getting in the studio and just playing. Very soon after that, one of my clients saw some of the pictures I'd done with Beck and wanted to use her for a campaign or a hair salon. And we did a shoot for the hair salon, and pretty much throwing Beck straight into the deep end. And it was a fun shoot, but it was completely different. We're working with their ideas, not so much our ideas. And then Beck came back into the studio and we started playing. So she would just turn up with clothes she liked and ideas, and then I was just trying to get her to understand fashion a little bit. It's that whole sort of fashion S shape, and the grunginess, and even back then, give her a cigarette and some wine and she always did better. We then had a couple of months break, like 4 months break until she came back in. Sometimes models just have to wait till I'm free. We shot this, all of this was shot on the same day. One of the shots is for the In My Pants book. Every time she came in, we just played. It was just experimental. I was always pushing her. So pretty much I just sort of tried to get her to understand what the industry is like, where it's very impersonal. It's very much about the client really doesn't care about the model. You're a mannequin. And yeah, just suck it up and do it. If it's freezing cold, don't get goose pimples. If it's boiling hot, don't sweat. And the really good models do it without a problem. These are just pictures that we're taking. So this is another 6 months later, and we're just slowly, basically just trying different things at this stage. I had a couple of clients, so I was working a fair bit for the alternative clothing industries at the time. So we had a fair bit of their stuff in the studio, and it was just pushing some of those sort of feels. But you'll see Becca's already got a ability to change her look. She can go from a fairly soft look to a little bit harsh, and then every now and then she'd give me these incredible eyes. And I think this is one of Beck's favourite shots, and this was taken in 2013. Just this growing thing that you can't rush it. It just has to grow organically. I really enjoyed this shot. This shoot was really fun because she brought her brand new little doll, cat, ragdolly thing in. The shoot was sort of strange, but I was shooting this with a 300mm lens on my Hasselblad to give Beck plenty of room just to sort of get comfortable with this look. I'm really glad I did that because I'm happy that I got the two different looks out of her with a cat. We were doing a fair bit of stuff with hair and makeup artists as well, and also I was just pushing the whole time to try and get the eyes to start happening and get some interest other than just I'm pretty, or I'm edgy. I just wanted to get something more. This shoot was incredible. So makeup artist on this shoot completely changed Beck's face just with makeup. It was a real eye-opener for me how much you could change someone with makeup alone. So it looks like it's been liquefied and changed, but it wasn't. This is just contouring, cutting that the makeup artist did. And then we started getting into the sort of fashion shapes that I love. And any of the stuff that Beck looks like she's nude, she's not nude. She was wearing a G-string and some tape because all I care about is the face. And the more comfortable Beck can be, the better the face is going to be. Round about now, 2015, it was sort of like I got very, very busy and Beck got into her job a lot more. And I don't know, we just fell apart. It wasn't like we had an argument or a disagreement. Life got busy. And then once I put an ad in Facebook for an assistant for my assistant, Beck answered and boom, 2018, she's back in the studio, and I think it only took her under a month to get back in front of my camera, I think. But anyway, we started shooting, and originally it was just to have some fun. Then it grew more than that. I could see Beck was really enjoying going through the process. She'd changed, she'd become a different person in this time. She had much more confidence. I thoroughly enjoyed doing all these shoots, and yeah, this was one of our first trips away, and Beck had this little dress that didn't have straps on. It quickly ripped the doona off the bed, and she sat on the floor in the hallway just with a natural light. We just sort of played whenever we had chance and we both were in the mood to shoot. We'd just shoot, and we'd always sit down, we'd have mood boards and things like that. I can't even remember how the Nakeds on the Street started. I think it would have been my idea most likely, just so I knew how to pose people with clothes on to look like they're naked, because I used to do a lot commercially, and that's how the Naked on the Street started. That was pretty much the first shot that I ever took for this series I was doing with Beck. And we just sort of continued growing on this. So I've put all of these sort of together. Yeah, it was just something we had fun. Every city we went to, we would just try and get our shot. The Disneyland and New York shots are some of my favorite. Then Inspire started to get bigger, and also we started to do some YouTube. So in between us doing our workshops and Inspire and our commercial work, whenever we had a free time to play, Beck might buy something for her doofs or something like that and show it to me and say, oh, that's awesome, let's shoot it. She loves her harnesses and things for her doofs. And we would always find time to quickly get a shoot in. It might be after a commercial shoot, it might be a day we clean up the studio and try and fit it in. I don't think there's any set reason. The shoots we just did for both of us. It wasn't something to make money. It was something to make me feel good, something for Beck to feel good, and to create images. And yes, we did the famous boob shirt with Beck, and there's just other things we did. And the whole time, every single shoot we did, Beck was just getting better and better and better. And you should start to be able to see now she has really learned how to control her eyes. Basically, it doesn't matter what she's wearing, she forces you to look at her eyes. And that's something that's really important to me, because I think the eye is the most important thing in the photo. Everything else just tells a secondary story in that photo. Then we were traveling again in 2019 into Europe. This picture was just done in London. Both of these were Barcelona. We just traveled around shooting. We got back from Europe for a little bit. After that, we were back in Australia, and I picked up a Tarantino shirt online. I saw it online and fell in love with it. And the whole time we were in America, I was just looking for the right pair of undies for Beck, and we found them in a place in LA. Beck loves Tarantino and even more Kill Bill. It was just a shot that both of us really wanted to do. We started then working a little bit more on Inspire with Beck, because the confidence was strong and the images were just really, really strong. Then we did a commercial shoot with Shuri, which is a stylist in lingerie. And this was sort of when Beck first really got recognized on YouTube. This shoot sort of went viral. Everyone wanted to know why I cut her feet off. No matter what I put on her feet, we're going to change the look of the picture. So by not having the feet in the picture, the feet weren't going to change the mood of the picture. We were shooting a little bit more for YouTube. We were shooting a lot for Inspire. Then we get into 2020 and we all know what happens then. Beck and I were able to keep working because we were shooting a documentary at the time. So in that we were shooting stuff for a lot more for YouTube, a lot more for our Inspire channel. And it's basically because we couldn't take on commercial work at all. So a lot of the shots for a little while were basically, we'd come up with an idea, like this was a Beck doof outfit. She had a picture that I loved that she had taken herself on a doof, and we tried to reproduce it in the studio. Then we had an experience in Australia, I think the rest of the world had it, where toilet paper just sold out everywhere. So basically toilet paper was the most expensive thing in the world, and we decided to make a bikini out of it. It was just fun. It was tongue-in-cheek. During this time, we needed something to give us a laugh. So as we went on, we just kept on working on our stuff, as well as we were doing a documentary, and we just kept doing things. Now, Beck is an absolute massive fan of deadmau5. Jared, her partner, has a deadmau5 helmet, so we brought that in. Just little things that we just looked for any reason to put a shoot together and decide this is going to be a shoot, build our folios as well as create content. And these are just a mixture of shots. Like this one was shot as something for both Inspire and YouTube. And we started to have a lot of fun doing this because the fashion industry that I got into photography with has disappeared. So editorials just weren't happening. Designers weren't booking people to do crazy stuff. So during that COVID period, Beck and I started to, well, instead of someone booking us, why don't we just do it and film it, and then we can submit it to magazines or sell it afterwards. So a lot of the shots we were doing during that time were just to create content, but still working as if we were working for a client. These shots, like this was the one with cheap lighting, and we went on to shooting black on black and showing how you can light black on black. We just started traveling again now. This was a little break that we had where we could actually travel within Australia again and start working again. This is 2021. All of a sudden, the COVID restrictions started to go round about now, and we could get back into not just continue our YouTube journey and creating, we could now start going back to what we really like to do. At the end of the day, most of the stuff that you see on YouTube and Inspire, we're not forcing ourselves to do this content. This is stuff we want to do and just film it in the meantime. Beck is just getting better and better. I don't know how many shots we've done where first 2 or 3 frames, oops, I think we got it already. We can't do it that quick. There's a shoot that we did with a makeup artist. First, the makeup artist did a tan on her, which was about an hour. Then the makeup artist half did her makeup, which was another hour. Then she did her hair, which was another hour and a half, 2 hours. Then Beck comes in, we did a couple of shots, and he comes out and puts lanolin all over her. It was sort of like, I think we lost about 5 or 6 hours. Both Beck and I thought this was just a complete waste of day, but we managed to pull off this shot out of the day. I can't believe Beck could give me these eyes while she was covered in this sticky lanolin, which I've just wasted all this time in hair and makeup, and the makeup artist put lanolin on me. These shots were just up in the golf course near my house, and I was just playing with lenses and working with Beck. I know I'm always going to have pictures I like, so Beck's happy to sit with me while I play with some lenses. A lot of our work happens in Airbnbs and apartments and things like this. Traveling again, Milan on the steps. We really enjoy traveling because we get to experience lots of things, but then this is just in a hotel after we spent 4 or 5 days in the worst Airbnb we've ever spent. So just in Frankfurt, we had this awesome Airbnb, like the lounge room area was just to die for as a shooting area. And I only ever shot on this one wall. It was so nice. The light was beautiful. Paris, of course, I love Paris. And every time I go to Paris, Beck needs her picture in Paris. Some of the shots like this was just, the whole aim of this picture was for a tutorial, but Beck still gives me a cover shot. And that's what a muse does. When you work with someone so much, it doesn't matter what the picture's going to be used for, Beck puts the same effort into the picture as if it was for a cover of a magazine. This shot was just done in Austin, Texas. We went for a walk with the camera, went around, we ended up in a bar, of course, I was with Beck, and just shot some pictures while we're having a drink. And this is this thing, by having a muse, you know what you're going to get, and when they give you something even better, it's like a bonus. One afternoon, we had some light coming in through the front window, and Beck goes, "Oh, I want that light." She quickly set something up, jumped over there, and we shot these pictures, which were just gorgeous. I loved the light we got here. Fiji, we were up there doing some work for Inspire and a couple of other things, and again, it was just a whole new environment for Beck. This shot here we've had in our mood board for, I reckon, 2 or 3 years. It was nothing, it's not the same as that at all, but it's a similar feel. And it was so good to be able to shoot this shot finally. I don't know, it's every time I get to work with a muse, especially someone like Beck, where we spend a lot of time together, but we can still create amazing stuff. And she keeps learning her skill, and she's just getting better and better and better. So we're right up to modern day now. It's May 18th, 2023. This is just in an Airbnb bedroom wall in Barcelona. We found this outfit in Zurich. We bought it. Beck fell in love with it, put it on. I think we only shot for half an hour, and we got 2 beautiful shots out of this. Then we went to Paris. Beck just grabs the sheet off the bed, walks out in the balcony with the afternoon sun coming through, and we nail this shot. I really feel if you want to photograph in sort of like the fashion or the beauty, portrait and art with people, having a muse you can work with will increase your photography skills so much more, because they're going to let you take your time. They're going to let you make mistakes. They're going to work with you, and as you grow, they will grow, and both your skills and the muse's skills will get better and better, and both your pictures get better and better. And especially working with one person, you can develop your style easier, because the person you're working with is working with you because they like your style. So it allows you to actually evolve your own style without being changed by other people's thoughts. Hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to put a couple of the videos we did for YouTube with Beck up now.